Hello, and welcome back to the Heart Artistry Podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about the behaviors, the identity, and the common patterns among successful, above average, insane entrepreneurs, the ones that go above and beyond, the ones that you know their names. They didn't just create businesses, they created their own worlds. They are known for their own universes, whether these are inventors or authors or artists, entrepreneurs, leaders, podcast hosts, celebrities, people who have gone above, way beyond what they're expected to do. These are people that have created legacies that will transcend time. And that will go down in history. That's already going down in history. I want to talk about that with you today because something I love to do is not just study incredible entrepreneurs within the coaching industry. I love that. And I also love learning from inventors. I was recently diving into the history of Formula One, Ferrari, how they created these insane luxury cars. I've dove into Steve Jobs and incredible entrepreneurs, James Dyson, who created the Dyson company. There are these leaders that stand out among the rest, right? That we know their name, we know what they've created. Even when we hear their name, we know what they founded. We know what they've created in their lifetime. And we have that same amount of time every single day that they did, right? And I believe one of the greatest ways to build a business is not just reading business books and taking business programs. Do that and study history's greatest founders, inventors, entrepreneurs, the people that have gone before you to create something massive, something legendary that you still use, household items, companies that continue to serve people to this day. And across all of those incredible leaders and my clients that have created the most amazing results in their business, one of the greatest things I see is their perspective. And I have this as well. And I believe it's what really helped me start my business in such a powerful way where I can look back and be like, wow, I am so grateful for that part of me that understood this. Even though I still had to learn it and I still had to apply trial and error to really incorporate this in my body. I learned a lot through my mistakes, especially as a 3-line. And of course, getting mentored and getting coached by on it. And one of the biggest things that I see and one of the biggest things I've embodied is this mindset, this perspective of when you hit a block, when you hit a season in your business where something isn't going as planned, you're not hitting the result, you didn't hit the goal, the results are not what you expected, and it feels a little bit like a punch to the gut, like, oh, that hurts. I didn't think that I was gonna get so far from the goalpost. I thought that I really had it in the bag. And when those moments happen, because they do and they always will, because entrepreneurship is about growth. It's about us growing to become the greatest version of ourselves. So if we're constantly hitting the goal, we need to move it further. Right? There's this story about this chess player where he was winning all of his games, but he was playing with people who were not as experienced as he was. So he wasn't actually ever growing. He was winning, but he wasn't actually growing. Right? Because I do think that as human beings, there is this fear of, well, if I challenge someone who's further along than me, I have the chance of losing. Yeah, we do have the chance of losing, but we also have the opportunity of growth every single time we lose. And that is the perspective of entrepreneurship that I think shifts everything. And that's what I see among my best clients that I've worked with over the years, right? As well as my existing clients, especially in my mastermind, because we do such high level work. We meet very consistently. It's very close proximity. So I know where everybody is at, and I know their thought processes and their identity and who they have to be, right? I see these women putting pedal to the metal every single week in their business, getting coaching, being vulnerable, showing up, and then creating these massive results, and then wanting to grow and get bigger and bigger and become the greatest version of themselves in this lifetime. I mean, that's why they're attracted to my container, and why I love working with them is because we have this energetic match where it's like, I mean, I've created over $1 million in my business now, and and there are some entrepreneurs that want to just end there, right? Oh, I'm good. I'm making, X amount of money per year. I've made 6 figures, 7 figures in my business, and that's it for them. But I know if you're listening to this podcast, you're likely not one of those people. You are someone that wants to continue growing and growing and growing and seeing how big you can be in this lifetime. And that's what makes you my people. Like, this is the work we get to do. And I'm so grateful that we get to do it, right? Because the entrepreneurs that stay for a long term, right? You build a sustainable business that is successful over a long period of time. You're not just satisfied when you hit a goal. You love the climb. You love the journey. You love the adventure getting there. You love being able to challenge yourself, and you may also love that little piece, that little part of this journey where you didn't quite get it the first time, but now you know what to do next time, and you're like, all right, let's go. I know what to do. I know who I need to be. Like, you are someone who gets excited. You don't, yes, there's difficult emotions, and that's such a part of it because we're human. We can never take that part away. And those emotions mean that we care so deeply. But after you've processed your emotions, you get excited because you know now that you're going to show up in a different way. You know what you've evaluated, and you know what you understand about this process so that you can go for the gold, right? And that's something that I really enjoy about following artists, and recently getting really into F1, which is kind of random, but it's such a beautiful sport. It's very, it just feels very different from, I've watched football, I've watched baseball, growing up and throughout the years, I've had partners that enjoy sports. Never really got fully into it, even though I'll go to games, right? I support like my local Bay Area sports teams, but I never really got into it. What I did love though was learning about athletes and learning about their mindsets. I always found that so fascinating. I think athletes are very much like entrepreneurs. They have to think in such a strong way. Like, I have so much respect, like the most respect for Olympians, athletes, people who are pushing their mental and physical body to the edges, right? They're stretching themselves so much. And I think about that with inventors too, like people who have invented, like I think of Thomas Edison all the time, creating the light bulb, right? Or people who've created electricity, Henry Ford that created cars. Like, we are, and Alexander Bell Graham created the telephone. Like, we are using these objects, these items every single day in our lives now. But there was a time period. Also, Alan Turing, who created the world's first computer, great. I've recommended this multiple times. There is an incredible documentary. I think it's still on Netflix. It's called, oh my goodness, what is it called? Let me actually look this up really quick. Okay, it's called The Imitation Game, and it has Benedict Cumberbatch as the actor who plays Alan Turing. Keira Knightley plays Joan Clark. I believe it's still on Netflix. If not, it's so worth renting the movie, watching the movie. I really love this movie. It's such a great one. I'm sure there's tons and tons of other incredible documentaries as well on Alan Turing. And yeah, it's just an incredible story. And there are such, also, if I said Alex Turing, I'm not sure why I like accidentally typed that into Google, but Alan Turing, that's his name. Yeah, it's really beautiful to be able to watch and understand not just the lives of people and the legacies they've created, but who do they have to become in order to create this? Like, if you think about it, some of this work is absolutely incredible, right? It's beyond the ordinary person. It's beyond the average expectancy, right? Your parents expect you to go to college. They expected you to get good grades. They expected you to get a really great 9-to-5 job in corporate, hopefully get that 401k, right? They expect this of you because that's what they know as safe, as comfortable. But here you are listening to this podcast, right? You're listening to my voice, whether you're on a drive, you're on a walk, you're in your home. And you are someone that's here to create incredible things. You're already creating incredible things. And so what I want to remind you of is this perspective, right? This way of looking at your business is, how can I become the biggest version of myself? And that starts with seeing life and seeing business in a very different way. When you experience failure, when you experience not getting what you want, not having the results you want, how can you become the person that processes your emotions, right? You're not numbing your emotions, you're not neglecting your emotions, but you are processing them thoroughly, and then you're also getting back up. You're feeling your feelings, and you're also going at it again, right? You're regulating your nervous system, and then you're evaluating, okay, what went well here and what didn't go so well? What did I create here, and how did I miss the mark? And we get to do this through a neutral perspective, because we don't need, the shame doesn't need to be involved in this, right? I think that's one of the biggest things as entrepreneurs, inventors, athletes, like, they are here to process their emotions, right? But shame is not a mandatory piece of this. We don't have to feel like, oh my goodness, I'm unworthy because I didn't get this. It's, how can we flip it and transcend it and create more, right? And the entrepreneurs I work with, especially inside Magicmind, which is my high-level mastermind that's currently in launch right now for the 2026 class, they love the high. They love it. It's like someone tells you no and that you can't, and they, like, my clients, myself included, we get off on it because it just adds fuel to your flame. You're like, all right, watch me. You think I can't do it? Just keep watching, right? Like, you don't know me. And it's not necessarily just hitting the new goal. It's setting a new goal that you haven't hit ever before and figuring out who you need to be to hit it. Right? Just like I said earlier, if you're constantly hitting all your goals, it's time to stretch. It's time to start not hitting some goals so that you can become the biggest version of yourself. This year, I've really stretched myself, and I have missed the mark many times with launches, with cash months that I've set, because I am setting a higher bar for myself. And I'm constantly asking, I'm okay if I don't hit it. I'm all right. I know who I am, and I know that all of this is data that's going to help me understand who I need to be, what I need to do, how I need to think in order to create those results. Right? I'm not knocked down by it. And if I feel strong emotions, I sit and process that. but then I get back up because I have work to do here. And then you fall in love with this journey where it's like, you're going to get what you came here to create, even if you didn't do it the first time. But you're stretching yourself and you're hitting these bigger and bigger and bigger goals, especially when you are scaling your business, like you're scaling your product suite, you're offering more group programs, you are stretching yourself with different offers. Maybe you're shifting into, growing volume for your signature course or group program. And you are really having to shift your perspective in the sense that, maybe you would have signed one-on-one clients back to back to back to back, but now it feels a little bit like you are going through periods of time where people are saying yes, and then some people are saying no, and then it feels a little bit more challenging to sell a new offer because it's a new offer and you're still learning how to navigate the messaging and the selling and your energetics. Like, there's so much that's happening behind the scenes. And it can feel sometimes like when we're stretching and scaling that we're actually moving backwards, but we're not. We're just doing different things. Like, we've compounded selling something like a one-on-one offer or a main signature offer that we've been running for quite a period of time. And then now we're shifting into a completely different offer. We're doing things in a different way. Maybe we're attracting different clients, right? Especially if you're going from one-on-one coaching to a group program. Your group program is likely going to be a little bit different. Maybe you're setting the bar a little higher. You're calling in more higher level clients, right? That is going to, the results are going to show up a little different. And there might be a transitional period where it feels like, oh my goodness, am I taking, 5 steps back? But you're not. You're actually just growing capacity for things that you've never done before in your business. And once you really learn how to navigate that, everything becomes so much easier. And you get to then shift and ascend into a next level after that. We're always growing and we're always evolving. And that's really the journey of the entrepreneur, is that we're constantly growing. And if we can love where we're at, if we can love exactly where we are right now in this moment, and not just hope for satisfaction and fulfillment when the result comes, when the goal shows up, when it feels good, right? When it all comes into fruition, but enjoying the ride, enjoying the process, enjoying the climb, enjoying getting there, enjoying becoming the person, and experimenting and evaluating and learning and tapping into the frequency and calibrating and understanding more about the energetics of business, right? I dropped a training inside my audio membership, The Chamber, earlier today, and the training was on the frequency and energetics of declaring versus asking and pleading and begging, right? I shared that my very religious upbringing, we were taught when you pray, you're asking, you're pleading, you're, hoping and praying that something is going to happen. And what I've learned through energetics is the universe, source, God doesn't necessarily respond to what you want. It responds to who you are, who you're being, right? The frequency state that you're in, getting to declare, getting to command what it is, because then you're shifting into that frequency. It isn't, oh, I hope, cross my fingers, I really hope I get it, right? We'll see, I don't know, please, 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 versus it's here. It's done. Thank you. Thank you for this result. It is here. I am so grateful. And calling in the feelings of what it would feel like and feeling them now, not just when it comes through, but feeling them now. And this is really important, right? Because you know that you're the kind of person who will do whatever it takes to build the life that you've dreamt, and you know that it's going to require you to become the biggest version of yourself. And one of the greatest patterns that I see is even when your result doesn't hit the goal, You get to the bottom of it. You learn to close the gaps. You learn to identify what are the problems in the business. What do I need to understand? What do I need to alchemize? What lesson am I being taught right now? I see it as the universe is giving you when you don't get what you want, right? And it can feel so frustrating. I used to have this mentality, very victim mentality of like, the world is out to get me. I used to say that a lot, actually. Oh my goodness. I used to say that a lot. And now I don't remember the last time I said it. It's probably been years and years and years and years. But I used to say the universe is out to get me because I just felt like everything was happening to me, especially when I hit my rock bottom when I was pregnant. I was a teen mom and the relationship with my daughter's dad was falling apart. And then eventually he moved out and I was 19 years old, living alone with a baby, struggling with postpartum depression, going to school and working multiple jobs, raising this baby. And it was a surprise pregnancy, right? I was very young. I was not prepared. I was kicked out of the house. And so I was in this place in my life where I was just full victim mode. And I was like, why is this happening to me? This is so unfair. All my friends were like drinking for the first time and going to college parties and getting to have this sense of freedom. And I just felt so trapped. And I really had to learn to alchemize that in order to build a life that I loved and become the mother that I wanted to be and to be able to enjoy my life, right? And learning to do that with the circumstances that I was experiencing and learning to not see it as such a as from such a victim lens, but seeing everything as happening for me. Because in fact, every single thing that happened to me, I created it. Like it's me, right? Like, hello, I'm the problem. It's me. And I also learned that, okay, if I created this and these are situations that are happening in my life, what is it teaching me? Like, what am I here to learn, right? I believe that we receive these customized lessons from the universe. And if we don't alchemize them and learn from them, then yeah, we are always going to feel like we're in victim mode. But if we can understand the lesson that we're being taught right now, if we can understand exactly what it is, if we can understand exactly what is happening, then that's our golden ticket. That is what allows us to get to the next level. Is you take that lesson that you're meant to learn, you alchemize it, and you let it fuel getting to that next stage in your life, in your business. And that's what we're here to do. We're never here to just get to one point and stay there. We're here to continue growing and growing and growing and growing. And that is the joy of running a business. That is the joy of entrepreneurship and why we come into this work in the first place. So one of the greatest patterns that I see, and I believe Thomas Edison said this about the light bulb, 3,000 tries to create the light bulb. And when someone was asking him about it, he said, well, I didn't fail 3,000 times. I just found like 2,999 ways that didn't work. And that mentality, to be so insane to believe that you can create something like the light bulb, which, back then was, people thought he was insane. Like, and he was, in the best way though, because he believed and he had a vision. And I believe that when we want something really badly, it is a future version of ourselves that already has it. So we're tapping into that frequency of, oh, I want this so bad because there's a future version of me on a future timeline that already has it, that's kind of nudging me towards it, right? It's like you started your business because you had the nudge from your future self. You work with the clients that you work with because this is what you feel drawn to. We feel drawn to these things. We desire these things because our future self already has them. And it's kind of like a little energetic tap on the shoulder, like, hey, this is the direction that you get to go in. And so if you can trust that and know that it is inevitable, that everything that you want is going to come into fruition, who are you going to be and how are you going to choose to feel on the way there? Because this is really important work. How can you allow yourself to be in this frequency, to be in this state on the way there? Okay. So inside Magicmind, which is my high-level business energetics mastermind, this is really what we do. This is the women who are in this room. They have this mindset and mentality. You're entering a room where everyone thinks this way. You might be the only person you know, or one of very few people that you know, that has such an ambitious, whatever it takes attitude. When you join the mastermind, you are surrounded by women who all think this way. They're all doing and taking massive action, doing things in their business that are scaring them and moving the bar higher and higher and higher on their goals and their results. And they're evaluating every single step of the way. In fact, there's a channel on Slack that is just dedicated to evaluations. And when you get done with a launch, or something didn't go as planned, or you're celebrating something massive, I have you evaluate it. And I have you evaluate it when things are going well, so that you understand how you created it, so you can create it again and again. And if it didn't go so well, you understand why. And we get to coach on that. And that's what I'm there for. So it's a win-win. Either you create exactly what you desire, or you get the exact customized lessons that really help you to get there with my support, my mentorship, the support and peer coaching of your peers inside this mastermind for an entire year. The Magicmind Mastermind is for the crazy ones, like the ones that are crazy, here to create illogical results. You are a visionary. You think outside the box. You are someone who has always stood out, the way you think, the way you show up. And that's why I built this room. I built this room for the craziest, most magical and extraordinary people in the world. I love the word extraordinary because it really, in the word, it says extraordinary. You are not an ordinary person. You have never been an ordinary person. You couldn't be an ordinary person if you tried. Like, that's just the fact of it. And because of that, you are here to create something just beyond your wildest dreams. And I see that for you. I see you as the biggest version of yourself. I see you as the wealthiest version of yourself. I always say that my work is to guide my clients back home to themselves, their truest selves, and to calibrate you to your highest timeline. Like, you have all these different timelines and all these different ways that your life and your business can pan out. And you are calibrating. My work is here to support you, to connect you to your higher self, to channel from your higher self, and to listen to the spirit of your business so that you end up on your highest possible timeline, like the best, most optimal timeline for you, the one that's like glowing and it stands out and you get what you desire on the highest level. It is wealth, prosperity, and abundance on steroids, and it's you on your highest, most magical timeline. That's my mentorship for you, because I'm all in for you. Like, imagine being in a room where your mentor is not just cheering you on, but holds you even when you're in the wobbles. Even when it feels tough, it feels challenging, the results aren't coming through in the way that you expected. I still see you as the biggest version of you. It's not like when you wobble, I wobble as well. I got you, and we're here to figure it out together. I take that on myself. The results that you create, who you become, how you show up. Like, I see it. Like, when we sign that contract and you enter this mastermind, I am here to hold up my end of the bargain, which means I see you as the biggest version of you. I'm holding you regardless of what comes up. I'm here to support you no matter what. I've got your back. We're in this together. We're going to create this. And it would be harder not to get the results that you desire inside this space. Okay, this is where you stretch yourself to see how far you can go, where you take 100% responsibility, where I take 100% responsibility, and we come together to create something massive. You create your legacy, and I guide you in coming back home to yourself to do that. And that's what we do inside the mastermind. So when you join the mastermind this week, you have a special bonus. This is actually part of my birthday bonuses. So when you join, you can either opt, so it's your choice, right? This is a choose your own adventure mastermind. So you get to choose your bonus, which is 3 weeks of one-on-one Telegram coaching, or you can do 3 live calls with me throughout your year in the mastermind. So you can do that across 3 different months. You can spread that out how you would like to. And then 3 weeks of one-on-one Telegram coaching, you can also spread out those 3 weeks. So that is when you apply this week. Okay, I'll leave the link for my birthday bonuses inside the show notes. And if you have any questions, you can DM me. Magicmind is enrolling for the 2026 class, which means if you join now, you're going to be with us throughout 2026. So whatever vision you have for 2026, whatever it is that you want to create in your business, we're going to do that together. All right. And for a very limited time at the beginning of November, I've opened up a couple of spots for one-on-one consult calls. I haven't done these in a really long time, and I'm excited to be able to get on calls with you all. And you can schedule that through the show notes. And you can book a time on my calendar. We will chat. We'll talk about your business. What does success mean to you? This mastermind is very tailored to you and your results and your business and who you are. I take that very seriously, and it's the reason I've kept this mastermind a very small group mastermind. I am also very selective about who I let inside this group. I really desire to work with women who desire to be in this room. You desire to be here. You love being here. It lights you up. You feel drawn to this mastermind. There is no income requirement. This is really for the woman that is saying, I want to pull up a seat at that table. I'm meant to be at that table. And you declare it and you decide it. You're not waiting for permission. You're not waiting to be, you're not waiting for anything. You know that you're meant to be inside this space. That's really what I'm looking for. And someone who has the whatever it takes attitude when it comes to your business. You're here to do whatever it takes to create success. And you're in love with the journey. You're in love with the climb. That's what I'm looking for. The woman who is taking 100% responsibility. You are the creator of everything in your life and your business. And that excites you, that fuels you. And you're ready to be mentored at the highest level from me and from your peers inside the mastermind. So Magicmind Mastermind, the investment is currently $15,000 for the year, or you can pay in 12 monthly installments at $1,400. There's also a 6-month payment plan as well. And when you schedule a consult call, we'll be able to chat about your business, your goals. What do you want to create in 2026? What are some big challenges that you might be moving through that you want support around? We'll talk about your movement that you're creating. And I will share with you what I see as the 3 main focuses for the mastermind that we'll dive directly into based on where you're at and what you want to create. So again, this is a very custom tailored space. This is a space that is designed for you. The mentorship is geared for you specifically. You get coaching inside the 24/7 Slack channel. We have 2 to 3 live calls. We have an in-person live event, retreat style, that is happening early 2026. So you'll be a part of that when you join now. And if you want coaching, when you want coaching, anytime you want coaching, you get coaching from me. So if you have any questions, most of the details are going to be on the main Magicmind page, which is tiffanychong.co/magicmind, also linked in the show notes. If you have any questions, just schedule the one-on-one consult call with me. You can ask me any questions you'd like on that call. We'll discuss your business, and if it's an aligned fit for the both of us, I will invite you inside the mastermind. All right. Thank you so much for joining on this episode. I cannot wait to jump on a call with you, chat about the mastermind, and I will catch you in the next episode.